Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, everyone. Wednesday, 9 p.m. here in Ireland. And it's time for the Spiritual Light Show. So our regular broadcasting. So good to have all our friends here leaving the message here. Marisa, good evening, my dear friend. Elsa from Sweden. Greetings from Stockholm. So Marisa from Brazil. Also, we do have friends here from Portugal, from UK, from Ireland. So Fayute, my Irish friends, welcome to our show today. And we're going to talk about, can we foresee our future? So we give you our thoughts about it. So thank you very much. And let my friends here introduce themselves. So Elsa.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good hearts, good friends. We are together once again. So nice that we have this moment, that we can exchange idea, reflect in so many topics that is very important for our life, especially today, talking about sorrow, happiness, about our life, our future. So what we want for us, for tomorrow, for a minute later, for next month. We have to prepare now. We have to think about it. We are important, but we have to prepare ourselves from the outside to inside, because we have plenty of things outside. So, my dear friends, join us in our talk today. Thank you very much, and spread it to your friends. Thank you.
And today we have our friend from Spain, Rodrigo Ortega. So, Rodrigo, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation, and it's a pleasure once again to be here. Very happy to contribute for the learnings of this beautiful doctrine and to serve our friends. And that's it. So, hola a todos, bienvenidos. Muchas gracias por la oportunidad de estar con vosotros aquí hoy. Espero que disfrutéis de la reunión de hoy, que va a ser muy buena.
Bonsoir, France.
Bonsoir, bonjour, bonsoir à tous. Merci encore une fois d'être avec nous aujourd'hui pour cette petite émission hein, au sujet où on parlait de l'avenir. Hein, est-ce qu'on peut connaître l'avenir? C'est un sujet qui est assez chaud dans le milieu spiritualiste. Hein, il y a beaucoup de gens qui aimeraient savoir des choses dans le futur et on va essayer de vous expliquer pourquoi on ne peut pas toujours le savoir. Voilà. Hello, dear friends. I'm really very happy to be here again with you tonight in order to share some thoughts about this question of or can we know about the future, huh? And which is a hot question because a lot of people, they really would like to know about the future, and we will try to explain why it is not always possible.
Yes, thank you. So today we're going to do a little bit different. Before I click the play here, let me give a little bit introduction. What we discuss today? We predicting the future or foreseeing the future. It's nothing new. No. Throughout the history, we have a lot of examples of these people. They can see, they can read the future. No, one of the cases, like we saw for those who read the Bible, like they start off with Joseph. It's something. He became a special person from an Egyptian pharaoh. You know. And also, in Greece, for example, we have the oracles. You know, in Rome, we have they call augurus or aruspices. And so it's not in. We cannot forget in our days, for example, we do have the predictions from Nostradamus, Italian writer, famous Italian writer. So the lesson we have from this is desire to know our future. It is in many people, in whatever age and whichever epoch they belong to. But the question, one of the main questions we're gonna try to discuss here today is: it is possible to predict what life has in store for us, and what the view, Spiritism view, have to say to us about foreseeing the future. And based on that, I will start with our video. Let me share my screen here, and let's enjoy the
Can a psychic, can a medium predict the future? Yes or no? Yes and no. If you're going to a medium, if you try to predict your future on your own interest, say, for example, am I going to get that promotion? Is my boss going to promote me, or am I going to get a raise on my salary? Am I going to marry this person? That's quite silly, isn't it? It doesn't really matter much. It matters only to you. If you go to a medium, this person is going to advise you even on silly subjects because he or she is making money out of it. If this person predicts that silly future, is there a spirit with him or her? There might be. What kind of spirit do you think is going to be working with this psychic? It's not a wise person. So don't bother, don't waste your time with silly things. And they might have even a spirit with them. But what kind of spirit do they have? What kind of psychic do you think they are? Not really people you can trust. They are just taking your money away. Sometimes they're saying things that you would love to hear, and you pay some money for them. Sometimes they will say things that will scare you to death, and you pay money for them to clear the situation. Don't go into this trap. You don't need it. Or do you think your professional life or your business is going to flourish just because of that, because you paid some money for the psychics? Do you think the spirits will help you just because of that? Or they'll help you because you have worked hard, because you're really willing to help people, to make your business something that will help humanity? If so, certainly you're going to count with the help from spirits. Work hard on your relationships, work hard on your business, take care of your life, and certainly the spirits are going to help you. That's what spirits are interested on the progress of humanity, on your progress morally and intellectually.
again our friends from the High Spiritist, the Spiritist Academy, producing amazing videos for us. And I gave the small introduction, some historical context to everyone. And I'm delighted to see what Kardec has to tell us. And for this reason, I'm asking my friend from France, Charles, what Kardec says. I know there are two passages in the book, the Spirit's book and the Medium's book, when Kardec say a few words about it. Would you mind to help us to get to know what Kardec tell us about it?
Sure. I mean, it's these two passages you selected or you mentioned are main ones, but there are of course others. He's also talking about the future a little bit in the Gospel, and also in the Genesis, where he explains how can it be that some spirits know about our future, because we are on Earth, in our material world, used to the linear time, which goes linearly and continuously, which never stops, and so on. the notion of time in the spiritual world is a little bit different, because they are not in these 4 dimensions, 3 for space and 1 for time. Space-time 4 dimensions as used since mostly Einstein in 1905 with the theory of relativity. So, and on another hand, this, as you told, there was in Delft with the Greeks, Egyptians, it's since a long time. A lot of people, they would love, and as it has also very well been explained in the video, would love to know about the future. But so the question was also raised by Kardec in the Spirit's book, for instance. And in the Spirit's book, there are 3 questions, 868, 869, and 870, amongst others, talking specifically about the foreknowledge of the future. And the 868, for instance, is can the future be revealed to humans? Typically, the people who go to some mediums who are winning a lot of money, and also in Moses already faced this type of difficulty of mediums which are not very serious and which are abusing of the credulity of some people to take them some money and making them think that they will tell them things about the future, mostly. Which, as it has been shown in the video, is most of the time totally untrue or even fake. And so when Kardec is asking, can the future be revealed to humans? The spirits, they answered him, in principle, the future is hidden from them, and only in rare and exceptional cases does God permit it to be revealed. God, again, the God permits means the law of nature permits. It has to be read like that. So normally we don't know about the future. Why? It's very simple. We have our free will to decide to do something or not to do it, or to do one thing or to do another thing. This is something fundamental in the human being, the free will. Without free will, we would be like a machine which is programmed to do something. And with a machine which is programmed to do something, then of course, if it's programmed, you can know what the machine will do in the future very easily, unless there is an unexpected event or whatsoever. You know exactly what will be in the future. Do you think you are a machine? Personally, I think I'm not a machine, because, I can take at any moment, for instance, now the decision to raise my hand. It's unexpected decision, because I have the free will to do so. And there are much, much more evidences of our free will. So let's suppose now I know about the future. What do you think my free will be influenced by that? It's exactly a huge influence. I'm fighting to learn something, to do something. If I know that I will manage to have it, to get it without work, what will I do? I will not fight and work anymore. So you see, the fact to know the future has a direct influence on my attitude today. And this is why in the law of nature, it is not usual that we know our future. So that's also the question 869 of the Spirit's book. For what purpose is the future hidden from them, from the humans? The answer is exactly what I explained you quickly. If they knew the future, they would neglect the present, and they would not act with the same freedom. So you see, it's even restricting our freedom. The free will does not exist, or at the same degree at least. Because they would be dominated by the thought that if a certain thing must happen, it is not use being concerned about it. Otherwise, they would try to prevent it. God has willed it to be this way so that each one may contribute to the accomplishment of things, and even those that he or she would like to thwart. Thus, it is that yourselves unknowingly prepare the events that will occur over the course of your life. And this is exactly with our free will. We are building now, with our attitude, our future. So if we change our mind, our future will change. This is why the future is not known. If the future would be predetermined in the deterministic approach, our free will is gone. And again, the laws of nature are not like that. And so sometimes the spirits can reveal things that will happen in the future. And there are several examples, not only on Kardec, but also in other places. Again, it's very rare and exceptional cases. And the future is revealed to the people only when this helps the people exactly to build this future. I will give you an example. Allan Kardec, he was not even Kardec, he was still Rivail at that time in 1856. He was already studying the phenomenon, he was already preparing the Spirits book, compiling on the communications and so on. And at a given point in time, he was in a mediumistic meeting. Some spirit came and gave him some indication about the future. And you have a mission, you have some things important to do. And then he was asking, but why me? And what happens if I fail? You see, already foreseeing that he may fail, he may not be capable to manage to do this mission. And then the spirits answered him, if you fail, someone else will come and do it instead of you. So you see, they clearly let him the full free will and the full motivation to work hard in order to accomplish this mission. Okay. Now, how can the spirit know if he would fail, if he will fail or not fail? Basically, the spirits normally they don't know because it depends on the free will of Kardec. But the very elevated spirits, they know who Kardec is. They know exactly where he's come from, where he is today, exactly what he is capable to do or not. So they know with a very high probability if he will fail or not fail. And this is why they can sometimes determine the future or even help giving some hints in order to help the person, Kardec in this case, to accomplish his mission. They will reveal him things from the future only in order to motivate him to work harder and to make absolutely sure, to reduce even more the probability to fail. And indeed, he did not fail, albeit he had a lot of difficulties, a lot of problems, a lot of people against him. He suffered a lot of pressure. He was also ill, severely ill, but always the spirits were here to help him in order to accomplish this mission. And he was aware of this, and this is what kept him motivated to reach that goal. And basically, he in the Genesis, Stevan, he's explaining how the spirits can sometimes foresee the future. They can. It's like if you are on a hill, and from this hill you see a person walking in the forest on a way, on a road, and they know that this person is going along the road with some turns and so on, and they can see from the high level where they are situated that after 2 turns, for instance, there is a lion which is hidden. So they can foresee that there is a probability that this person will be attacked by the lion. But what they cannot foresee, for instance, is that the person with his free will of a sudden decides to make a U-turn and to walk the other way around, you see. And this is why these predictions of the future are always very to be taken with big caution, in particular when there are some dates given. And we have seen this recently with the COVID. Some people telling that it started in March, so in June 2020 something very important will happen, blah blah blah. And basically, we have seen in June nothing very special happened. And there are from time to time kind of prediction or that you can see in some other spiritualistic or religious movements, like there will be a catastrophe or the earth will stop at this and that exact date. So some have already updated the date 3 or 4 times because each time at that date nothing special happened. And this shows exactly the huge limits of this prediction of future. As soon as you see somewhere an exact date for something to happen, you can be quiet that there is a extremely high probability that it is fake and that nothing special will happen that date. Unfortunately, this also happens inside the Spiritist movement. But okay, I mean, the Spiritists are not perfect yet. Only God is perfect. So we are all learning, and these are the learnings that we are trying to transmit to you today. So yes, in some exceptional cases, it's possible to know about the future, but only when it is useful and when it will not harm or influence your free will. So that's what I wanted to tell shortly about this subject, and based on Kardec's teachings.
Yes, good examples, good knowledge. Kardec is amazing, you know, his idea is very, very instructive for us. And now let me travel a little bit to Spain, sunny Spain. You know, let's eat some olive oil there.
A lot of.
Yeah, my friend Rodrigo Ortega.
Yeah.
That's a trick. This is a trick question. I will paraphrase more or less what Kardec asked to the spirits on question 871 in the Spirits book. But mainly Kardec says, if God knows everything, no, he gave me a task, but he knows already the result. He knows if I will fail or not fail. He knows already. Why we need to undergo to this task? It's not be easy, don't give the task, say, oh, he will fail, don't give this to him. Why we need to go to these trials in which, let's say God, the superior spirits, I already know the results. Can you give some colors to this question, which, by the way, I can see from the chat here, a lot of people is very keen to understand it as well.
Yeah, that's an excellent question, because, and that's the question that most of people do for themselves, especially when we talk about spiritism. They say, oh, you're predicting the future, so you practice this kind of stuff, talking to spirits, and that's not the case. Specifically the opposite of what spiritism is bringing to us. I think that concept of why, if God knows everything, why he doesn't prevent us, or he prevents us from committing the mistakes. That's a question about what are we doing here in this life? Because if we look on our life here on earth through a materialistic view, then of course, so then we should be happy here, and then why should we pass through the situations that we pass through, which are trials or even other unfortunate situations that we pass through. But Spiritism brings us, through Kardec, the view, or a broader view of our life, meaning that we know that we are here in this world to learn. God is a teacher. God created us like simple and ignorant, like with the hardware, with all the hardware ready to absorb the learnings. But in order to absorb the learnings, we need to pass through the experiences. And the trials are not to prove God that we are capable. It's to prove ourselves, to our consciousness, to us, that we are progressing. So if we are in this life, it's like in the school. When you are in the school, and you are passing through the trial, or you are doing the test. If you are doing a test and the teacher is saying to you the answers, how do you know you learned what you should have learned? And that's the case. This life we have here on earth is for us to learn, or to cure ourselves. So it's a hospital or it's a school. but we need to pass through the experience. If God reveals to us the future, we will not pass through this experience, and then we will not learn. So that's why God knows everything. He knows that we will be passing through this difficulty, we will be passing through, but he knows that it's necessary, it's needed for our growth. So that's why we shouldn't know the future. And it's very dangerous when this kind of persons or mediums that Charles mentioned, who charges for predicting the future, for telling us they are influencing our free will and preventing us from growing. So they are telling us, or they are giving us a material influence, let's say this way, which will prevent us or will derail us from our course of life and the learnings we need to pass through. And that's why it's very dangerous, because the good spirits, they know they cannot influence our free will in the course of our life. Otherwise, it won't be doing good to us. The spirits who are with these mediums, giving this information, they are not doing good to us. Or they are doing that because they are ignorant, or they are doing that because they want to create some harm. And in both ways, we are not in good hands. So that's why it's very important for us to avoid this kind of situation. So good spirits, they are not telling us the future unless it's for, let's say, what Charles said, for something which is needed, and they are allowed to do that, but it will never prevent us from learning. And that's the thing that we should learn with these questions 871. I guess that's my view on that.
Well, thank you. That's the answer I was looking for, my friend. We are responsible. Don't take away our responsibility. We are responsible for everything, and if you need to prove something, you need to prove to ourselves.
Exactly.
Stevan, before you carry on, something came to my mind too. I remember now, always we know that there are politicians, there are people with a lot of money, they pay like a guru to stay with them all the time, saying things from prediction, what they have to do, the way that they have to govern, the laws, everything they consult the spirits. So the spirits, as Charles pointed very well, the level of spirit that is attached to matter or attached to these kind of things, they are not elevated ones. They are the ones, reinforcement, doing that. They are not elevated ones. The ones that they put themselves at the service to this kind of mediumship that is not with mediumship with Jesus. What we do in Spiritism, for example, that we don't predict the future outside, never, as Rodrigo pointed very well. We have our mediumship meetings in private to rescue, to help spirits, etc., but never to consult the spirit what we should do or have to do. Time to time, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes send a message to the humankind, to everyone. Humanity receive the message that is the general message to help humanity to overcome our problems, our sorrows, and help us to maintain ourselves focusing in a better future. That is a good thing, but we have to put in our mind, don't waste your money, as our video, né? Caldini said very well, because it is really a waste of time and a compromising ourselves with something that is not good for the future. We are talking about the future, happiness or unhappiness.
And also one comment here that we always say that the spirits, the good spirits, they inspire us all the time. So we are influenced by good and bad spirits depending on our vibration and our sentiments and our thoughts. But even the inspiration when we receive it from the good spirits, it doesn't mean that they are telling us something that we don't know. They are just helping us sometimes to recap or to recall what we know, experiences that we have passing through that maybe we are not accessing at the time that we are passing through an experience. But they are never telling us the future or telling something that we don't know. They're just helping us to access our mind, our consciousness, and to know things or to know something at that point in time that we are not remembering. But they are never telling us what we are not conquering by on our own efforts. That's the good thing to mention here.
Yeah. And taking advantage of what you have said, Rodrigo, Elsa, we have seen, but before I ask you your question, my friends, today we intentionally prepare short participation from us because we know this topic is very value for everyone. So ask your questions. Don't forget to ask your questions, okay? So, my dear Elsa, we have seen so far, brilliantly said by Charles, our present directly affects our future. No, like if I decide to have eat healthy foods now, the consequences is probably will have a healthy life. And if I change my lifestyle, probably it will be good for me. So the main idea, and also Rodrigo said to us, we are responsible for our future, we are responsible for our actions. So ideally is concentrate ourselves in our present. Looks like for me is the key message today. Forget about the future. Just use the past to acquire your experiences and concentrate and put your efforts in present today. So, how comfort our hearts in order to prepare our future?
The law of nature, the divine laws are perfect. If human beings are clever, we have intelligence. We are the only animal in the world that has intelligence in such a point that we have our free will to choose or not to choose things accordingly to what we want for the future, for ourselves. So if we put attention to our life today, rationally speaking, we can see that is the result from past existence. Everything that's happened to us. And also in this incarnation, including. Our free will is so powerful, associated with our thoughts. Jesus said, you can do what I am doing, even more. So, if we are sowing thorns, we expect in the future that we will reap thorns. If you sow charity, benevolence, kindness, if we see people in sufferings and try to help them, materially speaking, if you see people that is lost in their beloved ones, that they are really in poor situation, and we give our shoulders a cuddle, sometimes say nothing, only a hug or a prayer together can elevate this person and take this person from the really crying moment, bad moments, and try to help. So we will reap, we will have everything according to what we are doing today. So, but people that they are so attached to material things, they don't want to share, they want to have more and more and more. They don't think even about the others. People, that is the first law, love one another. Do to others what you want others do unto you. That is the law. It's the law, cause and effect law. It's a nature law. So everything is related to nature. If you see the nature, how the nature works, We have to see ourselves. We can't do that. You see, what I'm doing? Make a moment of reflection. There are people suffering. Why I am nothing to do with them? No, we are brothers and sisters. Now I am Elsa, living in a small house, but in a good way. I have my meal. I have no problem with the money. But there are people with suffering, without house, without money, lost in families, lost in jobs, in poor situation. We have to open our hearts, of our eyes of our hearts, and see what I can do to help to diminish the sufferings, the sorrows for the others. So this, we are preparing our future. Accordingly, what we are doing today, we are preparing our future. We don't need other people see our future. If I am a rich person, I mean, wasting my money with lotteries or other things, games, etc., and not pay attention around me, we will, in the future, suffer these consequences. If you want, or not, we want or not, we will. It's a consequence anyway. So I remember when I read the book of Viktor Frankl, that when he was in, of course, everybody knows this book, his book, a psychiatrist that he was in concentration camps. He was there predicting his future because he was attached to future. He was seeing the future. He was not as the others going down and I'm dying, everything is dying. No, he was doing things, preparing his mind, his healthy mind for the future. After the war, he wrote a book that is helping everybody. It's an amazing thing. There's a guideline for life for all of us. And not only think in material things, but things that he was poor inside a prison, inside a concentration camp, and full of life. Mandela in a prison, a concentration prison, and full of life. So we have to do that because our mind, we can guide our mind to healthy moments, but don't let down moments that you can help others. Our future, our happiness is when we help others, we are helping ourselves. When is more happiness in person that is giving than the person that is receiving. And also the way that you are donating, the way that you are giving the attention or helping someone, materialistically speaking, the way that you are giving, if you're giving as showing yourself to the light, the Olafort, or to the news, in one thing. But if you really help with your love, your heart, think that he is a brother or she's your sister in behalf of God, the Creator, you will be happy. This is the true happiness when we serve with love and care from our hearts. So I recommend to everyone, especially this moment now, try to help your others. Try to see, but if I give money, I don't know where my money is going. When you give, it's not your money anymore. You are giving. Leave them. The other person will be responsible, but you are responsible for yourselves, your action. Our action should be the kindness. We have the model and example of Jesus. It's the model not only for Christians, it's the model for humanity. He is the best example in the world, in our planetary moment that we have to follow is Jesus, that washing the apostles' feet without seeing their faces, but doing his best. Show us an example how to serve with love, with care, but a truly servant, serve with love. Never put their finger in other people's, hurting other people's, the people's womb, okay? It's more or less like that, Stevan, but it's an important topic. The conclusion, the part 7 of the Spirit's book conclusion, I read, it's only three pages, I don't read it now, but if you have the Spirit's book, you can download the PDF from our website, bas.org.uk, or Irish Spiritist Federation. You can download it, you can read the book, it's free, you can download it anytime, and see the questions that you mentioned here, And the conclusion, part 7, the Spirit's book. Or the first chapter, the part 4. Amazing lessons, amazing lessons. Everything that we need to know is there. For example, the Spirit's book in the part 4, chapter 1, hopes and consolations. Chapter 1, earthly joys and sorrows. Chapter 2, future joys and sorrows. Talk about the present and the future. So everything is there. The benefactors, the good spirits prepare everything for us. It's free in our hands to learn. We are intelligent beings. We can do this for us, for our families, for our future. Right now, I recommend. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Yeah, it's important to understand that all of you guys who are listening us today, you can say, "Oh, now we're going to start doing good things," but this is a good thing, yes. But what is valid is what is in your heart. Why you are changing? Because you are afraid of suffering the future, or because you really to change yourself? You really want to become a better person. So this is the valid question you need to ask to yourself, because the act of change is valid, but is more powerful the reason behind it. Okay. We do have actually two questions. Yes, one question here from Natalia Rigão. What if I have a good and positive will, but for some reason this what I want to achieve and conquer won't happen in this lifetime? Or on the contrary, I don't want happens in this lifetime. This can happen as well, right? Well, if I understood the question here, if I have a good positive, well, more or less I kind of answered the question. I think so. No. I think I more or less answered the question. What if I have a good and positive will, but for some reason this is what I want to achieve and conquer won't happen in this lifetime? So if this doesn't happen, it's perhaps it's not good for you in the way you think is good, or because the good spirits are avoiding it, because this will deviate your pathway for something that in the future is not going to be good for you, and you fall in a trap again and something like this. What do you think, guys?
Yes, I think it's not always we manage to do what we want, even with the best goodwill. This is why I always say goodwill is a necessary condition, but it's not a sufficient condition.
Yeah.
We would like to have sunny weather, but sometimes it's better that it's raining. Otherwise, the time it's dry, or the vegetation, or the water reserves and so on are jeopardized. So it's not always what we want which is the best for us, and it's not always what we want that will happen, even if we do our best endeavor to achieve it. And that is also something that we have to consider. Now, some other in some other how to say aspects, we have a bigger influence. For instance, if we want or don't want to do something, or if we want or don't want to learn something, that is where, of course, if we make efforts to learn something, we will end up learning it. If we make efforts to become better persons, we will end up becoming better persons. So in this way, yes, we can foresee the future, because again, today we are building what we will be tomorrow. But some other things which do not only depend on us, which are not only this work on ourselves, then the events are not only depending on us and will not always happen as what we would like.
I'll comment quickly. I'm thinking about life. For example, an example, okay? Healthy family, people, no problem with money, everybody's beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And something happened. You discover that you have an illness, you have a problem, and you have not put your attention, and the entire family, of course, put attention to help the person, make a WhatsApp group with the people praying, etc., etc., etc. So how God does this with me is injustice, because where everything was beautiful and fine, now we have this kind of thing in my life, blah, blah, blah. But yesterday with the Rivenia and other doctors are very nice talking about pineal gland, very nice information that she gave yesterday. And one of the topics was talking about that the pain, not suffering, the pain, the illness is a blessing for our improvement, for our evolve. We need to evolve through pain. Sometimes it's happen out of the blue, you receive a news. And on the other hand, things that you don't want that's happening, as you wrote here, and happens. But it's for a good reason, because the agenda written by divine laws for each one of us, for the Father, Mother, God, is the best thing that we can really follow. In everything, you should say thank you. Thank you for the problem. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. My daughter is ill right now, is undergoing a COVID reaction, etc. And she's fine. She said, Mom, in everything I'm saying thank you all day long. Thank you because I have treatment, someone is treating me, I can have medicine, blah, blah, blah. The pain is terrible, everything is terrible, but I know that it's important for my soul. In this case, she's suffering less than other people that sometimes is with a headache and blasphemy, etc., against God. So everything that happens in our life, according to the divine agenda, is a blessing for us. Doesn't matter which kind of problem, because the problem, especially the illnesses, comes from helping us. So there are other problems because we prepare the problem according to the cause and effect that we are sowing now, we will reap in the future. Of course, yes, but everything is according to the divine laws that happen in our lives.
Yeah. Okay. My friend Rodrigo, I think I have a special question for you here. Yeah. What about when we try to help somebody? This, by the way, this question is from Monica Cardozo. What about when we try to help somebody and they just don't want to be helped? We keep showing solutions and they just keep putting problems on everything?
Well, we should follow what God does to us. So we should respect their free will. So that's the point. So I don't remember which book I was reading then in most of them. So sometimes when the spirits, they are going through like the umbral and to visit, to learn with the good spirits, when they are this process of learning, they see people suffering in the umbral and they try to help. They go there and they feel touched and they want to help those. And then the good spirit, they say, hey, calm down. So they need to be made sure to be helped. That the help must be earned and it must be coming from the heart of the person. So if we try, sometimes we try to help, but the person is simply not willing to be helped. And then we don't need to absorb the problems of others. We can do what we can do. And then if we are not helping somehow and the person is not accepting that, we need to leave that person, although we try to do our best, and although sometimes we suffer for that, we need to leave the person to harvest the consequence of its attitude, because this is learning. This is this is our free will. So when we are parents, we face that every time. So we sometimes we say to our children, hey, don't do that, you get hurt. Hey, don't do that, we'll get hurt. But sometimes you just need to be, not to say anything and leave the kid to do what they need to do and to learn. Of course, something which is not causing a big harm, but if it's something that is causing a low suffering that will make the children to learn, this is helpful. And that's what God does to us, and that's what we need to do to others. We should never avoid ourselves or prevent ourselves from helping others. But when we do it with our hearts and the person is not accepting that, we did what we could. Let's follow our life. Let's keep close to help if the person needs help and the person needs some comfort. But let's allow the person to follow its free will and to learn through that. That's how I see it. That's what I learned from God. That's what we learned today about free will.
Good. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, very good, my friend. It's free will as everything, We always claim we want free will. We want free will, but
Not the
barely
consequences.
we know how to use free will. That's the point,
Can I comment something based on the
Of
previous
course you
question
can.
as well? So we in what we learn in true spiritism is that we have two things: determinism and free will. So when we are true in the animal stage, we are governed by determinism through the instinct. So and then when we pass to the being humans, we start using our free will. But God is never allowing us to use inconsequently or as we wish our free will, because He knows that we are not able to use that. It's like a baby, so we give certain free will to the baby, but we care for many things because we know that the baby is not ready to use its free will on a good way in doing good choices, because the baby is not having the learnings or the intelligence, not the intelligence, but the intellectual knowledge to make their own choice, at least in that life. So determinism is governing us and competing with free will, and it's our free will is released according to our evolution, and the pure spirits, they are free to use their free will freely. So it's a little bit free to use their free will freely, but it's not our case. And sometimes, answer to the other question, sometimes we have our good wish or the wish to do good things, but sometimes that's not doing good to us. And then the determinism comes to help us and to protect us from causing more harm to us. And then we are prevented from doing certain stuff that will be allowed some way in another life or in the future if we have the merits for doing that and the knowledge. But we should never be like rebels against the God's will, because He knows what's best for us. And if we try hard to do something good, or if we try hard to be relieved from a suffering, but we cannot do that, just let's be patient and trust God's will, because He knows what's best for us.
Yeah.
We are not talking about religion. We are talking about the laws, divine
No.
laws.
Natural laws.
Yeah. Yeah, and also we need to, as Rodrigo said here perfectly, our free will is limited according to our conscious. So we only use free will at the moment when we have conscious of something. That's why sometimes we the word's not regret, but sometimes we needed to revisit some decisions we have done in the past, because we acquire more knowledge, we acquire more conscious, so we have perhaps a different view. Well, And Charles, I want to ask you this. What Leon Denis says about it?
Leon Denis. He says a lot about liberty and freedom. And he says freedom grows only with the evolution of the spirit. It's exactly what you just told. If you want to be free, you first need to have the will to be free. And again, it needs also, it goes together with responsibility, because the more we know what we are doing, the more if we do something wrong, we will be stronger responsible than the person who is doing something wrong without knowing that he's doing something wrong. And also the freedom comes with the need of discipline. If you want to be free, you have to respect the freedom of the others, because if you don't respect the freedom of the other will not respect yours, so you are not free. And there is also a comment done by Kardec that I like much. He commented this famous motto from the French Revolution, liberté, égalité, fraternité. Liberty, equality, fraternity. And Kardec is commenting, it's in the posthumous work, that you should take it the other way around, because without fraternity there is no equality, and with no equality there is no liberty. So it has to be taken the other way around. And indeed, this is what we see in our world today. There is no equality. There is a lot of people who don't have what is necessary. So they have to fight to survive, and they fight by taking where they can, or even willing to emigrate to some countries where they become also the minimum which is necessary for them. So we cannot be really free in a world with so big inequalities that we have in our world. And it's exactly all about that. So that is what is coming with this free will. But to come to the subject of today, I mean, the future is really knowing from the future would make us machines and would kill our free will. So it's the human is not like that. The free will is an evidence. So this is why the future cannot be determined. It can be anticipated by God or by the best spirits, but at the end, we have the free will. And this free will, even if God knows how we will use our free will in advance, He is not influencing, He is letting us to make the experience and to learn out of it in the way to for our own good, for our own evolution and progress.
My dear Elsa, just to finish, touch our hearts, please.
Reflecting, reflecting, reflecting. We are so blessed. We are so blessed to have these teachings, free, giving us freedom, freedom of thoughts, actions. We can do everything. It's up to us, but we will harvest in the future for sure. So preparing ourselves today, we have to be kind, be charitable, to listen, to give attention to our children, to do our best to the ones that are cleaning our home or helping us, do the things correctly, the equality that Charlie said. They are our equals. No one is different before God. So my dear friends, thanks so much for staying with us, for supporting us, giving us hints what you would like to talk in the future. And you can send it to us or put in the chat. That will be very good indeed. Thank you so much. Thank our dear Rodrigo that came for the last minute and helped us now. Thank our dear Charles, that is a good friend for a long time, and Stevan, that is a son of my heart. Thank you all. Thank you all. God bless you all. See you next week.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Rodrigo, gracias. Charles, merci.
Merci.
Elsa, obrigado.
Thank you.
And I'll see you all next Wednesday at 9 p.m. London time with one more episode. Okay? Thank you very much. Enjoy your rest of your day and have an excellent rest of the week. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kardec Radio, for this opportunity. So it was nice to have you all here with us. Thank you.
Gracias, obrigado.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Merci.